Okay. Did everybody have a good weekend?
Yeah, really good weekend.
Good weekend. You were in Colorado. We were in Colorado the same weekend, I think, Tom.
Well, I was there in the week. You maybe were there on the weekend.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got a little bit of snow last week, so I got a taste of snow, but not too much, so it was perfect.
We were up in Steamboat. Oh, I was up in Steamboat for the wedding.
Oh, I love Steamboat.
Steamboat's fun.
So cold. I've never been that cold in my life. It was really cold. It was like, which just reinforced the fact that we are never leaving California. I don't care. I don't care what our taxes are. I don't care retirement. I just don't care. I'm never leaving California.
You could sleep on the beach, man.
I swear to God.
Agreed. I like seeing snow and visiting snow. That's it.
I kind of okay. So I skied when I was younger. My kids never did because I hated it enough to not want to carry around their stuff. I mean, I didn't like carrying mine. I was not going to carry theirs. So I was like, I never even introduced my kids to it. But so we stayed at the Steamboat Grand. It was great, right across from the live. It was beautiful. So one day I was like, oh, I'll go over and like look at the ski. Watching people walk in the boots and all that stuff, I was like, oh, it just reinforced the fact that it's like, I never want to do that.
You have no interest in taking it up again.
When you unstrap those boots, though, it feels really good.
I know, but it's just like, but the pain that you're in and walking in them, I was like, give me my Birkenstocks, man. If I can't wear my Birkenstocks and the weather doesn't account for that, then I'm not going anywhere. That's like my litmus test now. Has to be Birkenstock weather. And I'll wear them in the winter. Just,
I just wore mine last night.
See?
You could wear Birkenstock with socks. That's the beauty of the stuff.
24/7, baby.
Can I wear some Birkenstocks with toe socks then? Because I have toe socks that I can wear with my Birkenstocks. Can I wear those then?
I have Birkenstock Slides, which are awesome. Okay. They are the best. I have 3 pairs now.
I love them. So that's
we're giving shoe recommendations.
Shoe recommendations now, staying away from the snow. Sorry if anybody of you are, I think, oh my God, Beth or one of you that watches us, I think is from Minnesota, and it was like minus like 100 degrees there. It was like minus 41 or some ungodly.
Yeah, this was not the weekend to be talking about our weather, I guess.
How cold it is here.
Yeah.
It's like, only 60 today.
It's only 60 today. Sorry about that, everybody. Anyways, all right. Book recommendations. It is going to go Amanda, Gabe, Tom, Andrea, Steve. So Amanda, take it away.
Okay. Oh, wait, hang on. I can do this. Share screen. Ta-da! Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, Joey Day. Yay.
All right. So this is my first book that I have for you. So this is a standalone novel. So this is a sharp, funny book reworking from Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe series set in modern day LA, with Marlowe being 30 years old, whose father is, of course, a washed out LA officer. So this one, again, all of these come out tomorrow. I should specify that as well. All of these do come out tomorrow. So we are super excited to have this book coming, and you have an event.
Yes, we
correct?
do.
Yes,
Correct.
we do. So there will be
Tuesday, the next Tuesday, I think.
Is it next Tuesday? I can't remember the exact date myself. But this book does come out tomorrow. And then, of course, there is the Warwick's event that you're definitely going to want to pop in on as well. So again, very exciting. There we go. I mean, I don't need to say more than that because this is just a really highly anticipated book for everybody. So there you go.
We love us some Joey Day. Let's just say that. He is probably, can't pick a favorite author because that would be like picking a favorite child, but he is the nicest man on the face of the planet. And he is just, the San Diego Writers Festival has hosted him like almost every year. He's kind of like their perennial, guest. He's just great. And he's so generous with his like time. And he did kind of a master class with them. He's a great guy. He's
very cool dude.
Yeah, really
cool. It's kind of fascinating that it's Philip Marlowe, but I think it's present day Philip Marlowe, right?
It is set.
Yeah.
It is set present day. Yes, with him at 30. Wow. So that's going to be an interesting take on it for sure.
Yeah. So There you go. Okay, Beth Doherty saying that it's plus 29, not minus 29.
Oh,
She's our Minnesota girl that watches us. So anything below, sorry, Beth, anything below 40 is like, I
Might as well be
Just kidding.
minus 40.
might as well be. Just kind of saying. So anyways, all right, Gabe, go.
Me?
You-
Whoa.
yeah. Aren't you next? Yeah, you're next. Yeah.
Surprised that I got on early today.
Yeah.
So I've been waiting to talk about this book because I love Tessa Hadley from the moment I first read her, and we go way back with Tessa Hadley. She is one of these authors who in 2012 or something, we published a book called London Train as a paperback original from Perennial, which is our paperback original literary imprint. And I just loved it. And then we did a follow-up book, which I just loved. And it took me a couple of books to realize this is the same Tessa Hadley who I'd been reading in the New Yorker for years, because she's an amazing short story writer. And she's actually got a lot of short story collections. And it took me a while to put them together as the same person. And ever since then, I think we've published a half dozen books with Tessa Hadley, and she just gets better and better. She just, her structuring, again, the crafting of the novel is always brilliant, but they seem very ordinary, and they seem very everyday, and they seem very like they're going to be a slow burn. And there is sometimes a slow burn quality to her books. You know, there's no big suspense narrative. They're not necessarily pacey books, but they're character driven with really amazing characters. And the writing, she just knocks you out with the writing. So if you're a lover of words, if you're a lover of good writing and a good story, she tells really good stories. And they seem like they're just these, okay, she just pops into somebody's lives. And then she starts narrating, you know. But what she does is she finds these moments in time that are in flux, these inner moments in time or in people's lives, the characters' lives. In this case, it's, you know, the early 70s where things are starting to shift. The sexual revolution is happening. Birth control is becoming accessible. I think in the early 70s, a woman still needed her husband's permission to get birth control. That's not that long ago, folks. So she's taken up that right around that moment there, and our main character has an affair, slips out of the marriage for a little bit with a friend of her son's, and the book takes off from there. It's sort of kind of she doesn't separate herself from the family, divorce herself from the family in any way, but she comes to this crossing point in her life as she's getting older, as the world is changing, and what is my place? It's just, I don't do justice. I don't think I'm eloquent enough to describe a Tessa Hadley book, but she really, in these moments, these middle moments of change, she just creates these brilliant narratives, and that's what she really does really, really well. And this is a period, it's history. I was kind of a little kid when this was going on, sliding into my teens almost. So this is a long time ago, pretty old history for a lot of the folks. So it's, but it's pretty present.
Historical game fiction.
Historical fiction.
So crazy, huh? But that's what 50 years ago, 40 some years ago. Anyways, I can't say enough about Tessa. She's just a brilliant writer. I can't wait to read the next book. This book is already on my shelf. I didn't bring it up today, but it came, and it goes on sale tomorrow. So check it out. And there are a lot of paperbacks available if you want to get into anything. I started, her first novel that I read was London Train. But as I said, if you like Alice Munro type stories, if you're a fan of Alice Munro, you'll love Tessa Hadley. She's brilliant. And The New Yorker, as I said, The New Yorker is a pretty good endorsement. Has been a regular contributor for 20 some years to The New Yorker. So
yeah, to stay on
I'm
that,
always happy.
to stay there is always a pretty cool thing. Yeah, no, that's a pretty much an endorsement of her writing. So
yeah, a lot of longevity at that place.
Yeah.
It's actually seen some changes recently. Anyways, excited.
Yay.
I've never read her, but I am determined to read her. I mean, she's been on my list to write. I read her. I guess I've read New Yorker stories, but never a novel. So this sounds like a great one.
Always good.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, sir.
There you
Okay,
go.
Tom. Yep, you're up.
So Dan Pink, The Power of Regret. How looking backward moves us forward. So Dan Pink, hopefully you know, he's a #1 bestseller of books like Drive and When and A Whole New Mind. And he's one of these big idea writers. So he waits for that, he comes up with what he thinks is a good idea, does all the research, puts together like social psychology, neuroscience, biology, puts together all of the, he has the science to back up his ideas, and then we get a big book. So the new one is kind of it goes against the grain right now of this kind of people have an attitude like we should have no regrets, like people get no regrets tattooed on tattoos.
Right.
We live our lives with no regrets. And that's fine, but his point is that actually we learn a lot from our regrets, and that regrets should be something that we embrace so that we can move forward. And so he just set about to do research on this. So he did a huge survey. It's called the World Regret Survey, where it was 15,000 people in 105 countries. So he narrowed it down to 4 core regrets. And then what insights we can gain from focusing on those regrets. So all of his books are, you learn a lot, and then they're prescriptive. Like you can take away very specific things, and each of us will take away different things from this book and from all of his books, but there's always something to learn, which is what I like about what he does. He's a great, talker, great explainer of big ideas. So on sale tomorrow, Dan Pink's The Power of Regret. You'll be hearing a lot about this book. He's friends with people like Malcolm Gladwell, Annie Lamott, Al Gore. So a lot of people will come out for him. And I put him in the same kind of category as a Malcolm Gladwell or Adam Grant.
Mhm.
So if you like those kind of books and you haven't read Dan Pink, pick up The Power of Regret.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think there's the same thing with regret as like failure. It's like people don't want to fail, but
Yeah.
failures, it's like you have to fail in order to get better at something.
Right, exactly. And I love, I never really thought about it in
Right.
terms that he's putting it in, but once it seems so to me like, yeah, there's a lot of things we all regret.
Maybe we regret that like third martini at a dinner.
Pretty sure we regretted that one.
I know I have a few of those regrets.
Oh yeah, I have a few too.
I think I have many on all those 4 core, like just running down from those 4 core regrets, like
Yeah.
multi.
It's just like
Okay, enough about regrets.
Look,
Sorry
Gabe's
to brought us down.
got 0. Gabe's
Zero,
got no
man.
regrets.
Gabe is the no regrets guy.
He's the
I
no
think
regrets guy.
I'm going to have to share my poem called Dissipation and Regret at some point.
There you go.
I'll send that to you guys later.
All right. And Arlene, I'm sorry I wasn't at the store today. She's on there. She came by the store today, and I'm sorry I was not there. I rarely go in the store because I'm here doing this, but one of these days when life gets back to normal and I'm there more, hopefully I will see you there. Okay. Andrea's going to talk about Hawaii's story.
Yep, I'm going to talk about 3 mint edition volumes. These are paperback classics, very good values, all of them. And the thing I like about mint editions is that they are expanding and in some ways reassessing what a classic book means, a classic title means. And to that end, they are introducing a lot of indigenous works of literature, and also a lot of classics from men and women of color, so that aren't considered indigenous. And but I do want to talk about the Hawaiian series. They have a few in that deal with works from Hawaii. The first one is Hawaii's Story by Hawaii's Queen, and Lila'ukalani was the first and only queen, as mostly they were ruled by male kings. But in the 19th century, she took over from her father. And this is a beautiful personal portrait of a girl who grew up to become Hawaii's first queen, as I said, and who fought for the rights of her people. She traveled to Europe and was in the courts of many of Europe's capitals. And she was quite artistic and wrote over 100 songs, including the very popular Aloha Oe that you can probably hum to yourself right now, which is pretty amazing considering that this it came from the 19th century and it's passed down that far. But she really was an incredible person. And it's so nice to see this book out in a nice value $12.99 paperback. And as you can see, just great covers here. The next title is Legends of Maui. And Maui is considered Hawaii's founding deity. So he is in the one of the top notches of the Polynesian pantheon of gods. And he has a place not only in Hawaii, but other Polynesian cultures. And another great cover here, and this is a collection from W.D. Westervelt, who did a lot of collecting of folklore and mythology. And the next one is Pele and Hiyaka, which, and this is the story of two goddesses, two sisters. Pele was the goddess of volcanoes and the ruler of Kilauea. And her sister was kind of embarked on a lot of adventures and was more of a traveler. And so this is a nice little triumvirate of classics hailing from Hawaii. And I just hope that you will pick these up. They're in the store now. And come on, you live around the coastal areas, you're gonna love these books for sure. So
Oh yeah, no question. Love it. I love the Hawaiian history. It's really interesting. What is it?
It is.
What's that?
Oh no, I was just saying it is. It's very interesting. So
yeah, it really is. I mean, their alphabet only has what, like 12 letters, I think. And they've created a whole language. I mean, I love it. Steve Atinsky, are you sharing screen?
I'm gonna make that attempt, and that's not what oh wait, that's what I want. Come on, share. There we go. But that's not the book I want to talk about first. The one I want to talk about first is this one.
There we go.
By Brendan Slocum. It's a first novel, The Violin Conspiracy. Brendan is a classical concert violinist, and so is his main character in this book, who, so it's a really great story about a Black musician in the classical world. And it deals on one level, it deals with everything he's up against, because he's from a poor family. There's a lot of prejudice that he experiences that you don't hear about so much, about racism in the world of classical music, but it's there too. There's a great scene where, as a young man, he goes to a party at, I think it's a wedding reception, and they make him go in through the back door. It's just a quartet that he's performing with, they all are allowed to go in the front, and they make him go around back. This is horrible. But this is also a suspense novel. And our hero, Ray, he works hard. He becomes top of his level of violinist, and he's got this violin that was inherited. It came through the family, and his great-great-grandfather got it from the man who owned him. What Ray doesn't know that's the main character, Ray, he doesn't know at the beginning of the book is that it's a Stradivarius. And then once that becomes revealed, everybody wants it. His family, they're all trying to get it. They want him to sell it and divide the money. The slave owner's family, they want it. They think it's rightfully theirs. And it gets stolen, and he doesn't know. I mean, then he becomes obsessed naturally with tracking it down and finding it. So it works on a lot of levels. It's a suspense thriller. It's about the classical world of music and being a Black musician in that world. And it's really entertaining too. So that's out tomorrow. It looks like tomorrow is going to be another big day of new releases from everything I'm hearing so far. So that's Violin Conspiracy, and I'll stop sharing. Stop sharing now. How do I do that?
Here, up at the top. Want me to do it for you?
Stop. No,
I
It's at
just
the
did
bottom.
it.
There you go.
you did it. Thank
I
you.
did it for. I'll do it for you. I don't want to
Oh.
cut you off too early, but I'll do it for you. And
No?
Steve, I can't stop. The last time you were on here, you talked about the book Aftermath. I haven't read it yet, but I can't stop thinking about it, especially with
Oh.
like what's going on in Tennessee with them like banning mouse. I mean, it's just like.
Yes, I know. It's horrifying.
Anyways. All right, Amanda, back to you, my friend.
Yay! Okay. So my next book actually is actually out in paperback tomorrow. So this one I was just really excited to, bring back to everybody's attention. So it is some of Hollywood's elite are going to this Caribbean island to shoot a movie that has been written and directed by this famous actor, Cole Power's son. And their story revolves around three different women. Stella, who is the ex-wife of Cole, who has been struggling in her acting career and is hoping that this film will bring her back. To Taylor, who is a fledgling producer, who hopes that this will turn her career around and just, bring her to the forefront. And then Felicity, Stella's mysterious new assistant. So there is a hurricane off the shore, kind of coming at them. And so this book will just keep readers off balance with each new revelation about each of their characters. And it's just, going to be intrigue, murder, nonstop action throughout the book. So that's what I have for you is The Siren by Katherine St. John.
And she just writes one of those like page turning, juicy,
Guilty
gossipy-
pleasure. Yeah, love it.
gossipy kind of just like guilty pleasure book. So like we've always talked about this, there's all different levels of reading, and this is just one of those good ones that it's just like turn the page, sit on the background that you're in, right? Your virtual background is the best place to read that book.
Right on the beach.
Because I think if I'm remembering right, she talks about like the mega wealthy yachts and all that stuff, that it's just like kind of like we were talking about, like we need like Succession. I want those like caravan of SUVs to drive me around.
Take you to the White Lotus.
Exactly. Okay, Gabe, what do you got?
So another book I've been wanting to talk about in the wealth of my fiction.
I think
at
this
Harper
one might be the one that I wanted. Yes.
is
Yes.
Notes on an Execution by Dania Kukafka. And this is a book, I don't want to say it defies categorization, because we bill it as a suspense thriller of sorts, which it really is in a way, but it's really not necessarily just that. It is a book that is really thoughtful, really provocative, and turns the lens on the serial killer affection that we seem to have. We fetishize serial killers in America for some reason. I don't know if everybody else does too. I've been watching some Brit shows. Apparently there's serial killers everywhere, but we seem to have the best. But what Dania Kukafka does is, and on top, the other thing I got to tell you is every person that's read this book inside of Harper, this was our lead read pick, which everyone at Harper votes on a book that we love and we think is important and can find an audience. And this is the book that we picked for the summer season or the winter season here. But everybody that's read, if you go to to Goodreads, if you go to the other platforms that are out there for reading and librarians and Jules, the writing, the writing is spectacular. One woman, not more than one person has written to call this really well written or beautifully written is an understatement. So she really outdid herself with this book. So the focus on it is Ansel Packer is set to die in 12 hours. And that's the clock is ticking here. So there's a pace to it. But the book, and he is a serial killer and he wants to be known and understood. And he thinks he's got a platform. But the book doesn't deal with him at all. The book or deals with him marginally, but the book deals with 3 women in his life. His mother, who was 17 and in a bind when she had him. So that's where things begin. The twin sister of his wife's twin sister, and female police detective who has been hot on his trail, who with a really great name, Safi. And that's what the book focuses on. And then the havoc that Ansam has wreaked on his family, and each individual of the women's perspective is really brilliantly done. It's a really unique book. It really is, I think, a special book. The New York Times gave it a rave review last weekend. But it is one of those books that you really have to give it a look. It really is a lot more than just another. We were comping it to another book, and it was like, it's so not that book. You know, it really is a book that is really it's its own being. I think it's original, it's different, and you can't put it down. I mean, honestly, at some point I put it down because I was like, yeah, I got to digest some of this, and then I picked it back. But sometimes when you put them down, you're hard pressed to go back. I put this one down, and I kept wanting to go back to it. And when I did, I just ran through it again. So it really, it's so such a unique read. Jules has been raving about it since she read it.
Yeah, I couldn't wait for this to come out. I mean, it was one of those where it's like, and last week when we forgot about it, I was like, oh my God, how did we forget about that? Here, we're going to stop sharing screen.
I got
you. When last week I was just like, and I realized that we didn't talk about it last week when it came out, and I was like, I was hoping you would talk about it today, because it's the writing is almost like a Jane Smiley kind of writing, in that the way that she just like, it's really about these women characters and what and their lives and how this person affected them, but the pacing with the execution happening in the background, it's just like, oh my God, it's really good.
It's really good.
Really
sounds
good.
Amazing. And isn't she either is or was a Riverhead editor or assistant editor of Riverhead?
She was I think she was in,
Maybe she isn't anymore, I don't know, but
yeah, she's just a Seattleite now. She's up in the Pacific Northwest. I think she's just writing.
Her first book was with Simon, because I met her years ago.
Riverhead didn't publish her, but she worked at Riverhead.
Yeah, she worked at Riverhead, but her very first book was Snow something. Anyways,
yeah, that also got a lot of attention.
It did. As a debut, it was really good.
Yeah.
But she's the real deal. Love
That's
this.
awesome.
Yeah, I think we're lucky. I think we're lucky to have this one.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, Tom.
All right. So speaking of Riverhead, they have a little book being published tomorrow. A little book.
Just a little.
By Olga Tokarczuk, The Books of Jacob. So Olga Tokarczuk. I mean, it's pretty exciting and amazing to me that I get to sell a Nobel Prize winner, a very young, like vibrant, productive Nobel Prize winner, and that's Olga Tokarczuk. She won it in 2019, and you don't win the Nobel Prize for a particular book, except this seems to be the book that the Nobel Committee was looking at. I mean, this is considered her master work, her magnum opus, all those things. But it was published in Poland in 2014. So it's taken this amount of time for the translator is Jennifer Croft. And it's just taken a long time to get the translation right. As you can imagine, not an easy task. And I don't think she's probably not an easy writer to translate either. So she's taken, this is historical fiction, that's what it is. The main character of Jacob was a real person who she learned about, he's not known at all outside of Poland, and not even that well in Poland, but he was a charismatic, messianic figure in the 18th century. And so the book is about his travels, he traveled all over Europe, and both, he was a Jew, but he converted to Islam at one point, converted to Catholicism at another point. So religion plays a huge role. And he was loved and reviled by all different kinds of people. So it's just a big saga, as only Olga Tokarczuk could tell it. So this will be, it's already getting rave reviews. This is going to be one of those books that, it's not for everyone, because not everyone wants to tackle this, but she's actually, I haven't read all of this. I've read a chunk of it. She's actually a very accessible writer. I mean, it's as daunting as it may seem. Her earlier books were, she had kind of a thriller, Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, one of the great titles of all time, and Flights, which won the Man Booker Prize. So anyway, it's exciting to publish the books of Jacob, on sale tomorrow.
Beth,
Yeah,
who watches us and gets a lot of books from us, love Plow the Bones book with that
Oh
title.
yeah, she's amazing.
She is amazing, and Jennifer Croft does an excellent job of translating her work. She's worked with her previously. Croft is brilliant, and actually, little unnamed press in Southern California that I represent published her memoirs. So she
Jennifer
can
Croft.
write. Yeah,
Oh,
it's called Homesick, and it's amazing. And she can write and translate. So just to let you know, like, you're in the hands of a master translator.
right. I love that translators are getting their due now too. Like, there was a time when we really didn't know who translated, but I was having this conversation last week with a bookseller. Like, you read great translations, sometimes you think, who's the better writer here, the translator or the original author?
Yeah, because that is a feat. I mean, it really is a feat.
It is. I mean,
Yeah. To do it
I mean,
well.
poetry like blows me away. It's like, how do you get like, the same rhyme scheme?
Yeah, and the cadence in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Andrea, what do you got for us?
Okay, I'm going to share my screen once I find, where is it? What happened? Hold on.
It's on that screen somewhere.
It better be.
It's
was
one of
here.
those across the top.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it again. Sorry, guys.
It's coming.
I just can't see it. It's weird. Show all windows. Let's see. Gosh. Okay. There it is. Okay. You see that? I want to talk to you about Peaceful Heart Warrior Spirit, the true story of my spiritual quest, from Dan Millman, author of the incredible millions and millions upon millions of copies, author of The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. This is from New World Library, one of our stalwart New Thought publishers, I guess you would say, alternative spirituality, perhaps. And they do an excellent job. Whenever you see a book by New World Library, it's a book to pick up. They have amazing editorial quality.
You're so right.
And it's just a pleasure to work with true professionals like them. And Millman has been on their list for years, and this is finally really his the life well lived, his memoir. So and this has definitely been long awaited reflections here on his experiences that shaped the writing of Way of the Peaceful Warrior when he was a lot younger, and that evolution from youthful dreamer to spiritual teacher. And this is written in hopes of inspiring others on their own spiritual quests. And it's funny at times. It's extremely poignant for sure. And we think that not only will his old fans come to this, but also his new fans, he'll bring new fans will come to this. So there's a nice quote from Don Miguel Ruiz, author of The Four Agreements, and surprisingly, Tony Robbins, New York Times #1 best-selling author of business and sort of like, self-help titles. He says, Dan's new book is a must-read journey of transformation. Few other books so skillfully combine story and substance than this peaceful warrior adventure. And I'm just, like I said, I'm happy to represent this publisher, and Millman is one of those humans of, just great integrity. And so it's an honor and pleasure to represent this. And there's a small little parcel of these at Warwick, so I hope you can pick it up. It is $17.95 trade paper, and yeah, you're all good.
Perfect. Love it. Gotta have those. I love Don Ruiz. We had him at the store, packed the house. So love that he gave it a quote too. And Amanda, you're cracking me up. Like, Amanda equates me to being even better than Goodreads, Gabe. Just saying. Just saying.
I just meant those sites, out there.
Yeah. It's like, come here. I like this book. Everybody must read it. All right, Steve, what do you got for us?
Okay, let's do this again. I'm sharing. Okay, so this is a debut author, Kala Henkel, and this is what I call kind of a black comedy gaslighting thriller. Ooh. And it's a fun book. It's a fun read, and it's set in the early 2000s. It's around the time of the Amanda Knox trial. Mm-hmm. And it's set in the Berlin art and party scene of that time. And it's centered on two young women. They're art students. They're American, and they've come to this art school in Berlin, and it seems like they're never in class, it seems, and through the whole book I don't think they maybe go to one class in the whole book. But what they do is they score this incredible apartment, like it's just way beyond what they can afford, but they're given a great rent on it, and it's owned by a thriller writer, a woman who writes thrillers and mysteries. And they're just digging living there. And then they begin to suspect that she might be spying on them and using them as fodder for her next thriller. And so they decide to really, really play it up. They get into just living the most decadent style, and these lavish parties, incredible parties, and drugs and things, everything going around. And then one of the girls starts to realize, what, we really might be in danger. And eventually somebody does get murdered. So this is just a good little suspense thriller, fun, stylish novel. Yeah, that's about it. It comes out tomorrow.
All right. I love the cover.
Yeah.
It's a really good cover.
Great.
Cool cover.
Yeah, really cool cover. So sounds really good.
It's fun.
Hey, what was the one that you had? The Pizza Girl? What was that one? Is it something like that? Ours. It seems like, is it the same kind of? I don't know. I don't know
if it's the same kind of thing, but the reader who liked that would probably like this.
That's kind of what I was thinking. It kind of would probably the same kind of reader, I think.
Yeah,
would like that. Yeah,
I think so too.
Okay, Amanda. Are we in lightning round now?
We're in lightning round.
We're in lightning round.
Lightning round.
Really going to be a lightning round.
For mine, I have Roto and Roy, Helicopter Heroes by Sherry Dusky Rinker and Don Tate. Sherry Dusky Rinker, as you know, she did the Goodnight construction site. So I'm a huge fan of her things. What the heck?
Who is the manager of Houston Astros and Major League?
Is Alexa talking to you?
I don't have an Alexa, but I think it's my iPad. That's creepy. And it's like on the other side of the room too.
I'm not sure I understand.
This This is live TV, baby.
Very creepy.
You're being gaslighted by your iPad.
Right.
I guess so, man.
Roto and Roy are pissed, man. They're like getting usurped.
Anyway, it is a cute little picture book about a helicopter, a fire helicopter, and his pilot. And there is a fire happening, and of course they have to save everybody. They end up, so here they are putting out the fire. Along the way, save a little dog as well. It's just a very cute, very adorable picture book. And again, I'm a huge fan of Sherry Deskey Rinker. All of her books, I think, are just so charming and wonderful, and the illustrations on this one are just spectacular. So there you go.
Super cute. That was really funny. Technology's taken over. I read this great one. I can't remember what the title of it was, but it was a great horror story about what technology is doing.
Now I think my iPad's gonna kill me tonight. So thank you
Kind of
for that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Just
Yeah.
Put it in the
just make
trunk of the car.
That is my iPad. My Samsung tablet has never done that before. Just throwing it out there.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Just
All
saying.
right. Okay, Gabe, what do you got?
I have another book I've been wanting to talk about that I think also came out last week. But I just really loved it. It's a paperback original. Also, it's a paperback original. And it is The Good Wife of Bath by Karen Brooks. And I will just give you a quick backstory. We've published a previous Karen Brooks book, and the cover was a woman in a very floral dress, very voluminous skirt, with her back to the away from the image, so you could just see the back of her head, and in a really lovely pastoral setting. And it got some good reviews, and she's an Australian author. And then I got this manuscript, and I picked it up, and it's like The Good Wife of Bath, or it's maybe Chaucer. Let's see what it is. And I really loved it, and it was a really strong literary novel, I thought, with a lot of current issues. And so I Googled this author who I'd never heard of, and I'm like, oh my God, we published her previously, but really wrong. And this book jacket had a completely different cover on it, also very voluminous kind of a skirt. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with this book. This book is a really strong historical literary novel. So it changed direction as we went along. I was wondering, has anybody read this book? But all the English majors picked it up, it looked like. And there was a big sales conference. There was a lot of attention given to this little paperback, because I think all the English majors read it, which is a lot of English majors in the publishing company, you can imagine. And everybody pretty much agreed that she needed a bigger platform, and that we were just completely mistyping her. But I loved it. It's a story that's been told before. It's Middle Ages. Eleanor is a young woman who at 12 is, a cast off. Her father doesn't give her away, but marries her off to a much older guy. And, her life is going to proceed as the life of other medieval women's did, who had no future. And, but she marries a kind man, and she's got some grit, and she manages to carve out a place for herself in society. And eventually her husband passes away, and along the rest of her life, she experiences the highs and the lows, and marries other men and has various lovers. And she's just hanging on to every shred of independence that she can get. So it really is a book about, Eleanor just pursuing what I imagine every woman wanted back in the Middle Ages, to have control of her own life and pursue her own life. And she's a really great character. So it's a paperback original. It's got a good price on it. The package, I think, is really brilliant. And I think anybody who likes good, strong historical fictions with a strong female protagonist. So she has some fun. The greatest thing about it was all the Chaucer references and that's what kind of got me. The Chaucer references were really spot on, and they were appropriate, and they were smart. And she has her fun at Chaucer's expense a little bit here, because he sort of turns the tables on Chaucer, who mocked the wife of Bath in his poetry. So a lot of fun, and on a lot of levels it works. Like I said, if you're an English major, you're going to love it. If you like historical fiction, it's going to satisfy you. If you like strong protagonists, very readable, great sense of place, all that.
I love medieval book. I mean, I love It's like there's all different levels of, I mean, all different periods of history, but I love when it's done really well in the medieval.
It's done
times.
really
It's
well.
fun. Yeah.
I may have to sign off before we're done. I don't want to be rude, but just in case.
Oh, really? Damn it.
Tiny tears, tiny tears.
Damn it.
I'm
Gabe.
laughing, Gabe.
Tell me it's not so.
Bach, if you will.
Bach. We
I
are
will
not
be
mocking
missed.
you.
I know.
We will miss you. We'll
I
say
know, I'll
goodbye
be
now,
missed.
but we will miss you. Thank you for those Rex if I don't get a chip, because I loved Notes on a Silent Thing. So I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, Tom.
Okay, so I have a true lightning round two picks, but I'm doing 2 picks in my lightning round, but I can do them fast because you know these books.
Ooh.
In paper, tomorrow, Mike Nichols, Mark Harris's magnificent, wonderful, entertaining biography of the great director, Mike Nichols.
You know you're going to get ripped in the comments, so you
I
know
know,
that
I
Beth
had
is
to do
gonna
it.
rip you
I
off
wasn't
in
going
the
to do it, and I
comments.
thought, I have it right here. I'm
You
going
have
to
to.
do it. So, yes.
Tom
if you-
must be back. We're talking about Mike Nichols.
if you put off buying the Mike Nichols in hardcover, it's time to buy it in paperback. It's out tomorrow.
Beth Doherty saying she knew it.
And then,
Beth Johnson's right. You're getting so ripped in the comments.
awesome,
You mean
I love
Tom's
it.
book?
I love it. Now the next book takes us back to the beginning of the pandemic. Britt Bennett's The Vanishing Half, June of 2020. The book of the year in 2020, out tomorrow, finally in paperback. So if you never read it in hardcover for some reason, time to get it in paperback starting tomorrow.
Great book club book. Really good.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I don't need to say it was on every 10 best list,
Yeah.
#1 bestseller. I mean, a star was born with The Vanishing Half. It's a great read. So read it in paper.
There you go.
Okay, keep
I love
ripping me in the comments.
I love it. You're getting jabbed. Like, who is that Tom's book? All right, Andrea, what do you got?
Okay, I have a children's book. It's
Beautiful.
It's Up to Us. Yeah, it's really gorgeous. It's Up to Us, building a brighter future for nature, people, and the planet. And this is from an English press, What on Earth Books, and they partner with Britannica, which is great. So they do a lot of great things, and I've shown you many of their titles. This has it's just stunning. It's got several different artists working in this book, about 33 artists actually. And it's basically a manifesto calling on kids and adults to help restore the harmony of nature, people, and the planet. And it's told in very simple, relatable language, and these beautiful illustrations by the 33 illustrators that I was talking about. Here, let me just flip through those a little bit here. And it has an introduction by an English prince that's, in the news for this book in a good way, instead of tawdry,
The other prince.
the other guy.
Which one are we talking about here?
This is His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales.
Ah, okay.
Prince Charlie.
Charles.
And
He got out of the bad news a long time ago.
he got that out of the way. So
Beautiful.
Terracarta basically is a roadmap to sustainability issued by Prince Charles a while ago. It basically just this manifesto that he wrote and has been circulating, it just shows, talks about the damaging effects people have had on our environment, and what we've done to the planet, and proposes a series of new pledges for us all to help restore the planet for future generations and ourselves, of course. And I just think that the language is it's gorgeous, and that was pretty hilarious. Oh, here's Camilla, the future royal consort there, talking to kids. Kind of looks a little bit like Jill Biden there, huh?
Yes, you did.
It's just like the language is great. It's gorgeous, as you can see, and what's not to like about a book you know, just, you know, talking about the environment and what we can do to help restore it. So it's up to us.
Looks good. Love
Yep.
it.
$21.99.
Okay. All right, Mr. Steve.
All right, I'll be wrapping things up here with the Illustrated Ulysses. Here's a book that, like me, you may not have finished, but started and gave it a good, you know,
College
good
try.
effort.
Give it the good old college try.
There may be some of you out there who finished it and really, who say you finished it, and then there's those of you out there who say you finished it and really finished it. That made no sense.
But I think the latter. I think it's more people that have said they finished it than really.
Yeah, yeah. But here's another chance. And February 2nd is the 100th anniversary of the publication of Ulysses. And Other Press has come out with this. It's really a beautiful edition. It's an illustrated edition. Eduardo Arroyo was a Spanish illustrator. He passed away a few years ago before he could see this come to press. This was the last thing he did. And the estate did not want this to be published for a long time, and then they finally gave it the okay. So it's really, yeah, it got a great write-up in the Times over the weekend, but if you want to give it another shot of reading this, reading what is some people call the greatest novel of the 20th century, you can do it with pictures to help you get through the tough parts. And I don't remember a pig woman. Maybe I didn't get that far with a jug of something there. I don't know, but they're kind of cool illustrations, I think. And
yeah, it might confuse people like me more than it helps.
So what you have,
intriguing.
So what you have here is this book is, let me give you the dimensions so that you know what you're getting. 12 by 7, 7 tall, 8.3 wide, 7.5 pounds. What we have here is a coffee table book version of Ulysses. Whoever
I was going to say
that?
7 pounds. Yeah. Okay. I just looked at the price. Okay, it's a $75 hardcover. Okay, now
75. I'm sorry. Yes.
Now I got it.
Illustrations.
300 illustrations. Okay, now I get it. All right.
Okay.
That's it's a good one to close on. Andrea, I meant to tell you the New York Review of Books. I can't remember which book you talked about that was from the New. I love the New York Review of Books, the books that they do. Which one was that you talked about?
I didn't talk about any New York Review of Books. I talked about Europa editions.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought
New York. We used to.
Oh, is that you, Steve?
No,
yeah.
it's Wade. Wade.
Yeah.
Oh,
We used to rep them and distribute them back in the day, and it's a great list.
Yeah. Oh well. I don't know what made me even think about that. I must have been like in some other.
James Joyce confused you, and
I was in some other parallel universe somewhere. I don't know.
You know, Cambridge University is coming out with an updated annotated version of Ulysses, which I'm pretty excited about because it will help people get through. And so you can have the illustrated version and the Cambridge edition right next to each other. So,
all right,
it's all happening.
It looks like we did lose Gabe. He had to like bounce out, so he's to peace out, hip and trendy, right? All right, everybody, great books this week as always, and another good week of reading. Great weather for reading. It's January. It's cold. It's colder in some parts than others. Anyway, so everybody have a good week of reading, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.